Kurt, we got a gem of a day coming at us today.
Oh, we certainly do. Plenty of sunshine, and we've got temperatures that are actually going to be warming up. Low to middle, maybe even some upper 80s, especially the closer you get to that South Dakota border. That's where some of our highs may be getting even closer to that 90-degree mark. And we'll have a west-northwesterly wind today that will be just a little bit lighter than yesterday. I still think some gusts today of around 10 to 20 miles per hour. I do want to talk about our dew points because today they're still comfortable. Lots of us dealing with some dew points into the low to middle 50s by this afternoon, which is comfortable. It's pleasant for this time of the year because we've got some changes tomorrow. Some more of a south-southeasterly wind is going to evac in some of that moisture, some of that water vapor. So these dew points by at least the lunch hour tomorrow easily into the low to middle, maybe even some upper 60s, and then really into the southeastern corner of the state, northeastern South Dakota. That's where some of these dew points are going to start to climb into the lower 70s, a very moisture-rich environment, which will provide fuel for some storms potentially tomorrow afternoon into the evening time frame. So let's break down that potential. So this warm front moves through during the morning hours. That's what brings us the heat and humidity. It's the cold front that produces the lift to start to spawn off some of those showers and thunderstorms. And I do think timing wise, it's going to be by mid-afternoon, some of those storms developing just towards the west of Highway 83 along that frontal boundary. So once this front clears, the potential at those storms quickly diminishes. But I do think as these storms initially start to fire off, this front will stall out over the central part of the state, which will result in maybe a prolonged period of some stronger to potentially severe storms over central North Dakota, which could result in some localized flooding. And I do think as these storms initially develop, hail as well as a potential that some tornadoes will exist. It's as this front slowly slides its way into the James River Valley. These storms pick up this bowing nature to them, and as a result, we drop the potential at tornadoes, but really ramp up that potential at some significant wind damage as winds over the eastern part of the state could gust in excess of 70 miles per hour. We'll still see the threat of some hail hope and heavy rain. I think that's going to be another concern as some places could be seeing some localized flooding. So I do want to talk about the timing of this. Now, some changes from yesterday is that cold front has slowed a little bit, and because of that, the timing of this, or the threat of storms, has been shifted farther towards the west. So this area shaded in green here, this is where we'll start to see some storms develop between 2 to 5 o'clock Central Time this afternoon. Once those storms get east of Highway 83, timing wise, that'll be after about 5 o'clock through 9 o'clock this evening. So Jamestown, you'll be under the gun from about 6 to 9. Bismarck, anywhere from about 4 to 6 o'clock this afternoon. That's when you'll be under the threat of some storms. Minot at around 3 to 6 o'clock this afternoon. That's when your threat of some storms will be. And then for this evening, most of those storms will be off towards the eastern part of the state. So this warm front moves through this morning. That helps with moisture and heat advection. But then watch this cold front. We'll start to see some clouds developing around the lunch hour, north central, northwestern North Dakota. That's going to be some signs of some developing instability. It's going to be hot and humid ahead of this cold front. Behind it, bit more comfortable conditions with northwesterly winds drawing in some drier and cooler air. So not as humid, not as hot, northwestern North Dakota towards the west into eastern Montana, but still expecting some 90s today over the south central and southeastern part of the state. And then by 3 o'clock, note those storms developing just towards the east of Dickinson to the west of Bismarck and Minot. And then we'll see that threat at those storms shift east of Highway 83. I'm thinking after about 5, 6 o'clock this evening. And as these storms move into the James River valleys, they're going to start to pick up a bowing nature. So straight line winds will start to become the primary concern as those storms move their way at least into southeastern North Dakota. So there is that moderate risk, a 4 out of 5 on that scale today for the southern James River valleys. Do be prepared for 2-inch in diameter hail as that storms initially develop west of Highway 83. And then as they push east of Highway 83, 75 plus mile per hour wind gusts will be our concern. Then we're talking some heavy rain, and hope a tornado or two is not out of the question, and watching that one closely as they may be quick to develop with little warning possible.